Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening everyone. Welcome back to my YouTube channel and to another instalment in the Copper and Wood Chute Mountain Railroad. If you've been watching over the past few weeks, you will have seen me get along quite well with the scenery. This week I'm going to tackle the area under the bridge. Now, in most cases where deep water is being modelled, it's easy enough just to paint the bed of the river in appropriate colours and allow the reflective qualities of the water to take care of the rest. In this case, the client wants a river with not very much water in it, so I do have to detail the riverbed quite extensively. Anyway, without further ado, let's just head out into the workshop and detail that riverbed. My goal for the day is to detail the riverbed. I started off this morning by painting it a dark brown, just to hide the plywood and just make sure that I'm not going to get any unfortunate colours showing through if there's any gaps in the dirt. Obviously it needs to be a much darker colour than the dirt around it, because wet dirt always looks darker. Here is one batch of the talus that I made a while ago, and I think it is a pretty good match for this area. The super red rocks at the other end, I'm going to have to make some more talus for that, because none of the three batches that I made are going to be close enough for the stream down at the other end. Well, I've just dumped that talus out into a larger tray so I can rummage through it and see what I have, find all the big bits, and I actually don't think I've got anywhere near enough. So I'm going to make another batch of that, and also some for the other end of the room. Unfortunately, that's going to delay me a couple of days, but it is Friday, and normally I don't do a lot out here at the weekends anyway, so as long as I get that done today, it'll be nice and dry by Monday. So it's only one day that it's going to delay me, and that's no big deal. I've got more than enough work to take care of inside. Well, it's Monday morning, and I now have a lot more rock talus available for the stream bed. I made 3 more different batches over the weekend. I've made some bright pink rock in the small stream near that end. This is one of the new batches. I think this demonstrates the difficulty of matching existing colours. I was aiming for this colour because I thought it was pretty good match for the rocks that I built and painted in this stream, in this river. This isn't far off. I think maybe I should just mix the two together. This one is a little more red, and this one is a little less red, so I think the two together will probably give me a very good match for the modelled rocks in this area. Of course, once I mix them, it's too late to separate, but I think I'm fairly confident in doing that. Well, this is what it looks like mixed together, and I think it is a reasonably good match. I think that's pretty darn good. So I can now get back to what I tried to do on Friday, as in detailing this riverbed. The technique here is to start by painting the riverbed with full strength white glue. I'm now going to add some large rocks in selected places, although I'm also going to dip them in glue as well, because some of the larger pieces, they need a surprising amount of glue to get them to stick. I'm going to put these on in random locations. I want to make sure that they're not evenly distributed. I'm going to leave some fairly large open areas with no rocks, and I'm also going to make sure that I have several places with multiple rocks close together. I can't really do it with one hand, which is why I'm getting too much glue on the tops of them. I'm going to turn the camera off and I'll show you the result later. Well, I think that is enough of the big rocks. What I'm going to do next is scoop the remaining big rocks off to the side of the tray and cover the majority of the white glue with smaller pieces. Well, the riverbed is now reasonably well covered with talus. What I'm going to do next is sprinkle some of the fine dirt that the client sent me over the top of it, just to blend everything in. Actually, that's not going according to plan. All it's doing is coating the rocks that I want to be visible. So what I'm going to do is leave that step till later. I'm going to spray everything with IPA, 70% isopropyl alcohol, to wet everything down, and then I'm going to soak it with scenic cement. That will ensure that all the talus is properly glued down, and then later I can come back, put the dirt over it and brush it off the rocks before gluing that down as well. So let me get on with that and I'll be right back. Well, that step is now done. The important thing is to make sure that it is thoroughly saturated with alcohol before putting the glue on, because you need to make sure the glue is going to soak all the way down. Note that I did this whole process before the full strength white glue that I painted on the surface had time to dry. That way I'm mixing with that glue as well, making the whole mix somewhat stronger. What I can sensibly do now is leave that to dry for several hours. But I can at least work on other areas of the railroad while I'm waiting for that. Well, I have now repeated the same process for the drainage ditch over the other side with the bright red rock. I'm going to go inside now. I'm going to be going out soon, but I wanted to get this done so that the glue can start drying while I'm out. I don't know whether I'll be able to come back and continue detailing these areas this afternoon. You might have to wait till tomorrow now, but either way I'll be back out and I will continue later. Well, here I am the following morning, and the riverbed is nicely secure, or rather all the rocks in it are nicely secure. I'm not sure whether I really need to work the dirt in between all the rocks. Here's the spot where I dumped some and it's showing through. I think the dark brown base colour is not that different. Once it's got the water on it, I don't think it will look all that different. But I may work some in anyway when I'm doing the next step. Well, that's all for this week's video. Hope you enjoyed the show, found it useful or interesting, or both. Now, I know this video is a little shorter than I normally do them. That's because I think it's more important to break them at appropriate breakpoints rather than at a predetermined timestamp. I also know from the YouTube metrics that a lot of people turn my videos off when I get to the slideshow. For some reason, a lot of the viewers find that bit less interesting. Anyway, for the benefit of those of you who do choose to watch all the way through to the end, I thought I'd show a little sneak preview of this scene with the water included. So, hope you enjoy it. And I'll see you back next week. Not quite sure what that video is going to be, but it promises to be a lot of fun. And in the meantime, thanks for watching, and bye for now. Well, as I forgot to take a video clip of that last step in the process, I decided to give you a bonus sneak preview of the scene with the water poured, by way of a little bonus for those who watch the video all the way to the end.